got a 15-year-old that's just aching to be 16, you know. So,
yeah, well, that's the way it is.
So, yeah, so he can go to work. He wants to work, and I hope he. Yeah, I'm sure he can find something if he's willing to do anything. You know, you just about have to be willing to do anything these days.
Yeah, and it's it's tough when you don't see the long game out of it. Like the thing that you start with, even if you start at the bottom, that's not where you're necessarily going to be. You
Right.
use that, you turn that into something else,
Yeah.
and you turn that into something else, and you keep going that way until you get where you want to be.
Yeah.
But you got to have the motivation to do that.
Yeah, you do. I've got a 35-year-old too, and he started out when he was 16 at Taco Bell, and he worked for 3 years straight at Taco Bell. For a 16-year-old, that's freaking incredible, you know. But then he ended up managing a Lowe's.
Sure.
You know.
I mean, there you go, and then you turn you can take it as far as you want.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you got to have the long view to it, right?
Right.
It's not like yeah, if you just look at it today, today might really suck, and you probably don't want today.
That's true.
And you keep the long game, you look out and say, well, today sucks, but it's because I'm going to make tomorrow better than.
Yep. And one of the hardest things for me to overcome when I was young was, man, I want to be the boss.
Right, yeah.
I don't want to have to do this.
I don't like being bossed around, yeah.
And there was even jealousy involved in it,
Yeah.
Eventually I learned, they had to get there. You have to get there.
Everybody pays their dues, or most people pay their dues.
Well, that's like these these occupiers, I swear it just drives me crazy that they just don't want to get a job. They just don't like the idea of working.
Yeah, it's been an interesting one to follow. It's you got that, and you got the other people on the other side who are all these bankers. The bankers are an easy target, rightly or wrongly. Some of the stuff that did go down was pretty.
Oh
pretty
yeah,
disgusting.
and the government and the bankers are at fault. What airline are you on?
Oh, I'm United.
Okay. Corruption is plain and simple. If it's corrupt, it needs to be done away with.
Yeah.
But the Occupy movement is pushed by the unions. That's where it began with Stephen Lerner. He's the one that is high up there in SEIU, Service Workers Union, and he started it. And this stuff is funded and paid for, man. These people get paid to go down there, $60 a day. It'd be a lot easier to protest if you get paid $60 a day.
And let me tell you something else. I went to night school, I went to afternoon school, and then I worked my way up. I didn't cry when I couldn't afford college. I had to run my father's store after he got a heart attack. I didn't go in the street and breaking any windows. So one of the bums comes up to me. Didn't know who I was, thank God, because I'm very anonymous when I go out. And my little dog Teddy is with me, my 10-pound poodle. And one of the dirty rabble comes up and gets down and says, "Can I pet your dog?" I said, "Get your filthy hands off my dog." He was shocked. He thought he'd be in solidarity with the man. The man with the dog. He thought I was in sympathy with him. Because I was there somehow with older clothing and a dog. Somehow I was one of them. I said, "Get your filthy hands off my dog. Don't touch him." It's as though someone threw cold water in his face. This is what's going on out there. You don't know who these people are until you look at their faces. Let me put it to you this way. You wouldn't invite him home for dinner. Let me put it to you another way. You wouldn't want one of them to date your daughter. Let me put it another way. You wouldn't want your son to date one of these girls. Let me put it another way to you. These are very dangerous people. That's all I can tell you. Let's go to some of the callers out there who have been at the New York protests. Fran on WOR, go ahead, please.
Hi, Dr. Savage. Just want to say that I'm a big fan, and so is my entire family.
That's good.
Thank you for accepting my phone call. I just want to let you know that my husband insisted on bringing my 3 teenagers to Zuccotti Park to see really what's going on, and he really felt that our kids were not getting a true picture of what was there from the news.
Yeah.
And, I'm a high school teacher myself, and I was very reluctant to go because I was very nervous. But he said, let's go. Well, I will tell you, these people were not people I wanted my kids associating with. They were just the flotsam and jetsam of society.
That's right. These are the flotsam and jetsam of society, the malcontents that are found in all societies at all time. These are the 0.00001% of losers. There's another word for them, the losers, the bottom fish, the slugs at the bottom of the mud. And we're going to let them tell us how our society should be run?
Children my children, I really believe, have a very good moral compass. They were like, Mom, what is wrong with these people? They were not unemployed people. They were unemployable people. There's no way you could trust your business with these people. They are unemployable. Whatever gripe they have, they are just, they're unemployable. They are not.
Look, every society at every time has a small percentage that is known as the malcontents, okay, for want of a better word. It's an interesting category. Now, you take the malcontents and you motivate them. You want to call them rabble and rabble-rousing. You can put it another way. It's been known through history that there's always a rabble. It was the same rabble that conducted the French Revolution. But make no mistake about it, they're highly organized by union money, by the Tides Foundation, by Soros's money, according to my reading. And that's what makes this dangerous. When you have rabble that's this well-funded and this well-organized, this is going to get bigger, not smaller. And now you combine that with a complicit media, a fawning media, rather, and then you combine it with a mayor who's afraid to do anything, a governor who's not there, came to power, Governor Cuomo, as Mr. Law and Order, and so far he's been invisible, like our Governor Jerry Brown, because he doesn't want to show his true colors, which is all on the side of these protesters, or else he would have cracked down on them. Where's the National Guard? What's it for? Well, what is a National Guard for? It's to guard the nation. When you have mobs threatening to close down the nation's financial center, should there not be either police protection or the National Guard to prevent this from happening?
How do we protect our children from this and teach them that this is just a diversion from really seeing what the truth is?
I don't have a distinct answer for you. I mean, it would take an awful lot of movies of revolutions to show what happens when mobs like this get out of hand and how everybody in the society loses. Remember, once a mob is unleashed, nobody is safe. That's the important thing to remember. And it's up to the leaders who don't exist, because fundamentally the lawmakers, unfortunately, have become lawbreakers. I'll be right back on the Savage Nation.